The person everyone wants is never the person they can manipulate. Here's the secret psychology behind that paradox. There is a hidden truth about human desire. People don't want what they can control. They want what resists them. Control kills attraction. Predictability kills respect. Compliance kills power. And society will never tell you this, because compliant people keep systems alive. This video is not about being liked, it's about being chosen, without surrendering your autonomy. This is the psychology of being wanted, but never owned. Here's the great illusion. Most people are trained incorrectly. They are taught to be nice, be available, be agreeable, be understandable. And then they wonder why they're taken for granted, ignored, overworked, emotionally drained. The great secret is simple. The more people can predict your behavior, the less value they assign to you. This is not cruelty. This is human psychology. Here are some laws to guide you in becoming the person everyone wants but can't control. Law 1. Desire requires resistance. People don't chase what collapses into them. They chase what holds its shape. When you always say yes, your yes becomes worthless. When you always explain, your words lose gravity. In love, in the workplace, in friendships, in family, in society, respect begins where access ends. In love, think of attraction. The person who texts back instantly, always available, always reassuring, comforting, safe, and slowly invisible. Now compare them to the person who has boundaries, has a mission, and doesn't over-explain, doesn't chase emotional closure. That person triggers uncertainty, and uncertainty creates attention. Not games, but structure. Law 2. Control requires emotional access. If someone can emotionally destabilize you, they own you. Anger, neediness, fear of abandonment, approval hunger, these are levers. The moment you stop reacting, control collapses. This is why emotional discipline was the foundation of ancient philosophy. Not to suppress emotion, but to deny others access to it. Why nice people are controlled. Nice is often fear in disguise. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being misunderstood. And fear advertises weakness. People sense it instantly. They may not say it, but they respond to it. They push boundaries. They take more. They respect less. Not because they're evil, but because the nervous system seeks hierarchy. Law 3. Power lives in self-possession. The ancient strategists understood this. If you do not command yourself, someone else will. This applies everywhere, at work, in love, in family, in society. The person who cannot be rushed cannot be controlled. The person who does not emotionally beg cannot be dominated. For example, 2 employees. One over-delivers, over-explains, and over-justifies. The other does their job well, communicates minimally, sets clear limits. Who gets respected? Who gets promoted? Who gets overloaded? Competence earns entry. Boundaries earn power. Law 4. Mystery creates gravity. When people fully understand you, they stop imagining you. Imagination fuels desire. Clarity ends it. This does not mean deception. It means selective revelation. You don't reveal everything to everyone all the time. Privacy is not hiding, it is positioning. Why society hates uncontrollable people. Uncontrollable individuals threaten systems. They don't respond to shame. They don't obey emotional pressure.
They don't follow herd morality. So society labels them cold, arrogant, difficult, selfish. But quietly, they are admired because they represent freedom others abandoned. Law 5. Detachment is strength. It means you care without clinging. You love without losing yourself. You engage without dependence. This is why Stoic discipline was feared. Detached people cannot be manipulated by guilt, fear, seduction, threats. They choose. They are not pulled. Family knows your buttons. They installed them. Guilt, expectation, tradition. The moment you stop reacting, the dynamic changes. At first, resistance increases, then respect follows, because you are no longer programmable. Value comes from self-loyalty. When you betray yourself to keep peace, others learn to betray you too. Self-loyalty is magnetic. It signals integrity, stability, inner authority. People trust those who stand firm, even when they disagree with them, especially then. Why being understood is overrated. Most people want to be understood. Powerful people want to be effective. Understanding invites negotiation. Effectiveness ends debate. You don't need everyone to understand you. You need them to feel your presence. Law 7. Silence is a weapon. Silence forces projection. When you don't explain, people fill the gaps, often with respect, curiosity, assumption of depth. Over-talking cheapens authority. Silence concentrates it. The more self-contained you are, the more valuable you become. Neediness repels, self-possession attracts. Not loudly, not desperately, quietly, inevitably. The person everyone wants is the person who doesn't need to be wanted. That is the paradox of power. And once you internalize it, your entire presence changes. They lean in, they listen differently, they test less, because they sense something rare. The strongest man in the room is the one who doesn't need the room to approve of him. You don't become uncontrollable by fighting people. You become uncontrollable by mastering yourself. Discipline, boundaries, emotional restraint, selective openness. This is not cruelty. This is sovereignty. Here's the shift that scares people. There is a moment when people notice. You stop explaining. You stop reacting. You stop chasing emotional closure. And suddenly, they feel unsettled. Not because you changed, but because they lost access. This is where most people panic. They rush to restore familiarity. They soften. They apologize for boundaries. That is the mistake. Law 8. Withdrawal reveals true intent. Distance is a diagnostic tool. When you pull back, some people lean in, some people disappear, some become hostile. Each reaction tells you everything. Affection that survives distance is real. Control that requires proximity is exposed. This law applies everywhere: love, friendship, work, family, society. In relationships, you stop overgiving. You don't argue, you don't threaten, you don't explain. You simply reduce access. Suddenly, they text more, they ask questions, they accuse you of changing. You didn't change, you removed leverage. Why people test you?
Tests are not random. People test boundaries, self-respect, emotional control. They push slightly, then harder. If you fold, they escalate. If you hold, they adjust. This is subconscious. Humans look for structure, and strong frames feel safe. Law 9. Frame control is real control. Who defines the rules defines the relationship. If you are always reacting, You are inside someone else's frame. If you set terms quietly, others adapt. You don't announce boundaries, you enforce them through behavior. No speeches, no ultimatums, just consistency. In friendships, you stop being the always available one. You cancel when it doesn't align. You don't justify your priorities. Some friends respect it, some guilt trip you, some fade away. That wasn't loss, that was filtration. Law 10. Guilt is a control mechanism. Guilt is not morality, it is a tool used by families, partners, institutions, cultures. If guilt controls you, you are owned. Powerful people feel guilt, but they do not obey it blindly. They choose deliberately. Why you feel bad setting boundaries? You were conditioned. Approval was rewarded. Resistance was punished. So when you say no, your nervous system panics. That discomfort is not danger. It is withdrawal from dependency. On the other side of that discomfort is autonomy. Law 11. Self-discipline creates aura. People talk about presence. Presence is not volume, not confidence, not dominance. Presence is restraint. When your emotions don't leak, people listen. When your words are scarce, they carry weight. When your reactions are measured, you feel solid. That solidity is attractive. The loudest voices beg for attention. The quiet ones move outcomes. Those who shout need validation. Those who act do not. The world respects outcomes, not intentions. Law 12. You cannot be both needed and respected. This is uncomfortable, but true. The more people need you emotionally, the less they respect you. Respect grows from perceived independence. This does not mean abandonment. It means you add value, but you are not the source of survival. Why be yourself is incomplete. Being yourself without discipline is just indulgence. Power requires structure. Your impulses are not you. Your reactions are not you. You are the one who decides. That distinction changes everything. Law 13. Consistency beats intensity. You don't need dramatic boundaries. You need boring ones, consistent, predictable, emotionless. People stop testing what never moves. Simple example at a workplace, authority. You don't demand respect. You stop tolerating disrespect. You don't explain standards. You embody them. People adapt upward or remove themselves. Either way, order is restored. Being uncontrollable does not mean being aggressive. It means being non-reactive. Calm beats force. Stillness beats chaos. Those who cannot move you fear you. Those who cannot read you respect you. Law 14. Inner order creates outer power. When your inner world is chaotic, others control you with ease. When your inner world is ordered, external pressure weakens. This is why mastery always begins internally, not with tactics, with self-command. The man who needs nothing is the man everyone listens to. Let that sink. You don't dominate people. You outgrow manipulation. You don't chase desire. You become the standard others orbit. That is the great shift. If this made you uncomfortable, good. That means the illusion is cracking. This channel is about control without cruelty, power without noise, respect without begging. Stay sharp. Most people fail here, not because the principles are unclear, but because applying them threatens identity. You will lose versions of yourself. You will disappoint people. You will feel alone temporarily. That is the price of autonomy, and most people refuse to pay it. Law 15. Identity precedes behavior. You cannot act powerful while thinking like a subordinate. Your actions leak identity. If you see yourself as replaceable, you behave replaceably. If you see yourself as self-directed, others adjust automatically. Identity is silent but dominant. Why people panic when you change?
Your growth destabilizes their narrative. If you become stronger, their excuses weaken. If you detach, their leverage dies. So they will say, "You've changed. You're cold now. You think you're better." These are not observations, they are confessions. Law 16. Emotional self-sufficiency is unsettling. People expect emotional reciprocity. You give less reaction, less reassurance, less explanation. Not cruelty, clarity. This creates tension, and tension creates respect. Here's a powerful romantic shift. You stop chasing reassurance. You don't ask, "Are we okay? Do you still care? Did I upset you?" You let silence speak. Suddenly, they invest more. They seek alignment. They fear losing access because need reversed direction. Law 17. The person who cares less controls the dynamic. This truth is uncomfortable, but universal. Caring less does not mean caring none. It means you are not afraid of loss. Fear of loss is the leash. Remove it, and you walk freely. Why attachment is weaponized. Attachment creates dependency. Dependency invites manipulation. This is why ancient disciplines trained detachment, not to become emotionless, but to become unexploitable. Law 18. Self-respect is felt, not announced. You don't demand respect. You don't ask for it. You behave as if disrespect is impossible. Tone, pace, decisions. People adjust unconsciously. You stop defending your choices. You don't argue. You don't persuade. You don't seek approval. You act. At first, resistance increases, then silence, then a subtle shift. They realize you are no longer negotiable. Law 19. Others mirror your internal order. If you tolerate chaos internally, others bring chaos externally. If you cultivate inner discipline, others approach carefully. Your nervous system sets the terms. Why calm is threatening. Chaos is readable. Calm is not. An unpredictable calm destabilizes people. They cannot provoke you, rush you, pressure you. So they adapt or retreat. Law 20. Power is boring to practice. No drama, no outbursts, no emotional fireworks, just routine, restraint, consistency. This is why most people fail. They want power to feel exciting. Real power feels quiet. Trends chase attention. Leaders build direction. The loud seek validation. The grounded shape outcomes. History remembers discipline, not noise. The more independent you become, the more people want proximity. The more detached you are, the more influence you gain. Not because you demand it, but because you no longer need it. When you stop needing permission, the world starts negotiating. Being uncontrollable is not rebellion, it is internal alignment. You do not resist authority, you remove the need for it. You now understand why desire fades with compliance, why respect grows with restraint, why power begins internally. This is not a tactic, it is a posture, a way of being. If you're still here, you're not like most. This channel is for those who choose discipline over approval, structure over chaos, self-command over submission. Stay controlled, stay unreachable. Seal authority without isolation. Most people stop here, not because they lack discipline, but because they fear isolation. They believe power equals loneliness. That belief keeps them small, because true influence does not push people away, it filters them. Law 21. Connection without dependence. The mistake is withdrawal. The mastery is selective connection. You do not disappear. You do not detach completely. You engage without attachment. You give without depletion. This is balance, and balance is rare. Why extremes fail. Total compliance creates weakness. Total detachment creates irrelevance. Power lives in the middle, present, calm, unavailable to manipulation. People feel safe around those who are stable, and stability is magnetic. Love without losing power. You show affection, but you do not over-invest. You listen, but you do not absorb chaos. You care,
But you do not chase reassurance. This creates security, attraction, respect, all at once. Law 22. Warmth with boundaries creates loyalty. Coldness creates distance. Warmth creates access. But access without limits destroys value. The most influential people are warm, grounded, unavailable on demand. This combination confuses manipulators and bonds the right people. Why people stay around strong individuals? They feel regulated. Your calm steadies them. Your consistency anchors them. You do not rescue, you do not absorb, you model, and humans follow models instinctively. Here's an example of leadership at work. You support your team, but you do not overfunction. You listen to feedback, but you do not negotiate standards. You remain human, but not penetrable. Trust increases. Authority stabilizes. Law 23. Power is maintained through rhythm. You do not need constant presence. Strategic absence increases value. When you are always available, you are background noise. When you return with purpose, you are noticed. This applies to relationships, friendships, business, life. Why people stay makes people commit. Space forces reflection. Reflection creates clarity. Clarity produces choice, and choice strengthens commitment. Pressure creates compliance. Space creates loyalty. Simple example of friendships that last. You stop performing. You show up as you are, centered, self-contained. Some friendships fade, others deepen. Those that remain are real. Law 24. You must have a life that does not revolve around others. This is non-negotiable. Purpose stabilizes identity. Without it, people become your focus, and people become your weakness. With it, you engage freely, without fear. Why purpose is attractive? Purpose creates direction. Direction creates gravity. People orbit those who are going somewhere, not because they are impressed, but because certainty feels safe. Self-trust is the final shield. When you trust yourself, you don't over-explain. You don't seek validation. You decide. That decisiveness ends manipulation, because manipulators need hesitation. You feared isolation, but what you gained was clarity, alignment, selective closeness. You did not lose people. You lost access points, and that changed everything. The one who can stand alone is the one others trust to lead. Let that land. You now know how to be wanted without chasing, be respected without demanding, be connected without being controlled. This is not dominance, it is sovereignty. Listen to the last truth. Power is not taken, it is assumed, and once assumed, it does not need defense. If this knowledge shifted something in you, click on the subscribe button. This channel is for those who choose self-command, those who value calm over chaos, those who want influence without chains. This is the beginning of your posture. Stay centered, stay sovereign.